Kings never die.
What's up, y'all? So we're gonna be talking about the two new saddle buffs in this video. A lot of people haven't talked about them, which is why I'm gonna make a video on them because it's these buffs are they significantly impact PvP. These are some pay to win OPS fucking buffs here. You feel me? So you got this first buff that reduces 2,000 points on your Obdurancy for 45 seconds, which requires three, and this is why I say pay to win, three plus 12 mounts to unlock. And the second buff, which increases your HP, you need 2,400 saddle points, which is 5 plus 12 mounts, or 3 plus 12 and 2 plus 10. Or my mistake. I mean, 4, 4, 8, 12, 16, 4 plus 12 and 2 plus 10. Right? Jesus Christ, what am I doing here? 4, 2,000. Yeah, 4 plus 12 and 2 plus 10. So these are some pay to win ass buffs. But we're going to get into detail about them. This first buff here, it reduces 2,000 points tenacity, which is obdurancy, of whoever used it on for 45 seconds. So we go over here my chart on inlays. Full premium player has 5898 obdurancy or 57%. A full mystic has 3378. If you reduce 2,000 points from a full premium player, you are almost making them a full mystic player. That is insane. Like the amount of money someone spends to get full premium just for some asshole to make them a full mystic for a duel, I'd be so angry. That's more than that's more. If a character had full super inlays, use it above. It's like that motherfucker has no inlays on. It's insane. Like that's a broken ass buff, bro. That's insane. Um, so like we look at that, we break that down. So one premium is 9.61%, which is the amount of how much this buff reduces. So we look here in this here, I'm doing a full premium wizard against a full premium wizard. He has 61% of endurancy right now, and we are doing about 2,100 damage without crit, and then crit rates at about 35 to 3,600. Now, obviously, this is a range. If you played, you can tell you it's not. No one hits a fixed number. It up and down a couple hundred points. Assassins and monks, their range is probably a little bit bigger because they're hitting 10 to 20,000 in a duel. Maxed out monk. But when we use the buff, we see he goes from 61% to 52%. If you look here, one premium is 9.61%. So even though he has 6 obdurancy inlays, me using his buff makes him look pretty much makes him as if he had only 5 premium obdurancies inlays. So and you see we're doing about 3,200, or I mean about 2,200 not crit, and then 3,800 or so with crit. And then if we add a new amulet, I jump to like 4,300. So it's about 1 to 200 pretty much damage difference. Which I mean, for a wizard who's hitting 20 to 30 attacks in a duel, that's like 3 to 6,000 attacks. Now we're gonna discuss the second buff here, which is this horse identification. So I've seen there's some controversy from what I've seen from people because very few people actually have this buff. Maybe a couple, 2 or 3 players each server really, because it's so crazy to get, so expensive. Um, this gives you 3,000 HP flat, regardless of how much vitality, how much HP you have. You can't affect it. You can't increase or decrease. It's 3,000 flat. And if you add points to it, you got 2,000. That means 5,000 flat HP. Now, some people thought if you mess with your vitality, like how people do with bug HP, Like for instance here, this assassin has 38, 3612 vitality without a pet. He throws on the pet, he gets 71,000 HP. So we mess with our vitality here before we put the pet to increase the base vitality to 4,000. Our HP after that is going to be about 72. So even if you mess with this, increase your vitality before the pet and fuck with it, it's not going to change. This saddle buff is 5,000 flat HP. It looks similar. It looks kind of like this. If you would go into the files of the game and you look at the buff description, in this case, it would be 3,000. And with the points, there's probably a second buff that correlates to these add-in points to increase 1,000 and 2,000 HP on top of that. Whereas a buff similar to you know a lot of things like pet and stuff, it's some crazy ass formula and whatever. But in this case, this is 5,000 flat HP, 3,000 without the points, 2,000 with the points. So we see here, we're gonna add our mouse here so that we get 2,400 points, which will unlock this last buff here. So 73944 to 76944. Now in this case, when I made this video at first, I forgot to add the points. So I'm going to show you the HP with the points in just a moment. So you see we're at 78, and I added some Vitality MS as well. Before I did this, so I can see my max HP. So we went from 78,612 HP. We added points, 80,612 basic HP. A freaking wizard's walking around with 80,000 HP. That is absolutely insane. Now, boss on this server, he's probably the best assassin in the whole game. He's walking around with 86,000 HP without Magic Stone. So with Magic Stone, he'll probably walk around 88, 89,000 with his DR set and his premiums. That's absolutely insane. A monk, my monk was 95,000 HP normal with premiums and palace buff. This buff, motherfucker's walking around with 100,000 HP, and I'm not even including DR, the DR new set, the DR bug HP, none of that. My monk was just PCP PvP with palace buff, premium, and a bug HP with the Nebula and the PCP. He had 95,000 HP. So this saddle buff would make him 100,000 basic. Just to show you in perspective how crazy. So my monk's HP full buff was 141,000 here. Back when I just bugged HP with two of the cuff and arm guard, the new cuff and arm guard. I can only imagine with the saddle buff, with the full new set, with the level cap increase, so you get basic vitality more. That a monk with these buffs, man, he's gonna be walking around with like 150,000 HP. It's absolutely insane. That's why I say that these saddle buffs are pay to win, cause motherfucker just got 5,000 extra HP. On top of that, he's over here making a premium player become a mystic player and a whole dude. Absolutely insane, bro. But thanks for. So in conclusion, these two pretty extreme buffs are. I mean, if you're into PvP, these buffs are kind of. If you want to be the top of your class or be a very top competitor in PvP, you are going to need these buffs, unfortunately, because those with that same mindset, they're going to spend to get it. So you for if we go over the first buff again, that reduces 2,000 obdurancy. To get that, you're going to need 3 plus 12 mounts, and you'll unlock that. And that 2,000 obdurancy points is a little less than the equivalent of one premium obdurancy. However, it is the equivalent. It's a little more than the equivalent of 6 super obdurancy inlays. So that's pretty OP, and it lasts for 45 seconds. So I mean, it pretty much you can use it if you're trying to PK a fucker, and then in a duel, I mean, just about anything goes in a duel. So if they someone you're going up against somebody with that in a duel, you better better have it yourself, or that shit gonna hurt. And we only tested it on a wizard, but as we've seen, wizard without crit hitting, it was about 100 damage difference, and then with crit, anywhere from 2 to 300 damage. So, I mean, if you do a duel for 45 seconds, and the wizard's hitting, a hit a second, we'll say one hit every 2 seconds of any type. That's we'll average it out about 200 hits, 200 points, 200 damage a hit. 20 hits in that 45 second, that's 4,000 damage. Now, some people might think that's a little bit, dude walking around 70, 80,000 HP, only 4,000 damage. I myself have been in duels where I've only won with 500, 1,000 HP. So 4,000 damage will go a long way. And then if you stack that with the second buff here, that you can get 5,000 additional HP if you have 4 plus 12 mounts and 2 plus 10, or just 5 plus 12 mounts, well then that 4,000 extra damage is pretty much 9,000 if you just add the HP, 5,000 HP to it. So I mean, that's OP.